Good evening, folks, and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you all here. Today is Thursday, July 11th, 2019. And you know what? Going all the way back through Bitcoin's history, I can remember there's always been, about every 6 months, there's some sort of big scandal that comes along and negatively affects the price of Bitcoin. And it can be quite devastating. I remember the Mt. Gox scandal. That was one of the big ones, you know. It took Bitcoin down big time. I remember what happened the time China decided that they were going to crack down on Bitcoin. It took Bitcoin down hugely, from like $1,150 all the way down to like $140 or something. Scandal after scandals hit Bitcoin. Well, you know what? I'm a little bit worried, guys. I'm a little bit worried tonight because I've got news that there is the possibility that there's been wash trading going on in the Bitcoin ecospace. And this is all coming. Now, I mean, when I say I use the word possibility, because it's just, I've heard rumors that there's tremendous amounts of money being moved back and forth between Bitcoin and Tether. And they've been facilitating, possibly there's a chance that this has been facilitating some of the big rise that we've seen in the prices of Bitcoin as of recently. And it's very concerning to me. So let's get the chart started right here and take a look at what's happening. You know, the banks are closing in on Tether. New York Bank requests Tether to close company accounts. New York-based Metropolitan Commercial Bank has asked the stablecoin company Tether to voluntarily terminate their accounts with the bank. Tether there's huge amounts of capital involved here with Tether. That's connected in with Bitcoin, you know, and the thing is if we move to this other article right here, we're going to take a look. It says banks are asking Tether to close their accounts. Tether's questionable relationship with Bitfinex and the ongoing drama between the two and the New York Attorney General's office has caused additional fallout. Metropolitan Commercial Bank, a financial institution based in New York, has contacted Tether and requested that it close its accounts at the bank. The decision follows a revelation by the New York Attorney General's office in court that Tether held accounts at both Metropolitan and Signature Bank. CoinDesk was able to speak with someone at Metropolitan who said in an email, Metropolitan Commercial Bank has limited corporate operating accounts with Tether Holdings Limited. With negligible activity and requested the accounts be closed after less than 5 months of the accounts being opened. CoinDesk reportedly tried to get a response from Signature, but it was only told that the bank doesn't comment on customer-related issues. New York Attorney General Letitia James is going after Tether and Bitfinex, accusing them of defrauding New Yorkers as they attempted to cover up losses amounting to $850 million. So, you know, I'll tell you, it just seems like right at this point, right now, that the circle is closing in on Tether. The circle of not only the New York Attorney General's office, but also these banks. These banks are cutting ties with Tether right now. And I just got a feeling that they're cutting ties with Tether ahead of something big coming, possibly. Now, I mean, I'm just speculating at this point. But something possibly big coming from the New York Attorney General's office. I mean, they can shut Tether down. How would that affect Bitcoin? Well, you know, you consider how much trading is done with Tether to Bitcoin, you know. This could have a big negative effect on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's seen a massive rise in price quite recently. Up to the levels it's at right now. Now, you know, it wouldn't be. I've seen a lot of these things happen before, like I say, in Bitcoin's history. And it's not unusual for Bitcoin. It can shed 20, 30, 40% in a day or two. It can drop. And so basically what I'm doing for you guys is I'm trying to put it out there that this might not amount to nothing. That Bitcoin might continue to shoot up in price. But we've seen an awful big price rise. It was $3,000 and change, there just a few months ago, and Litecoins were like $26, Now I don't think it's going to go back down to those levels again, but we could very well see an $80 if Tether were to go down, this thing were to go down really hard, and it were to affect Bitcoin very negative. We could see $80 Litecoin. We could see like $8,000 or even $7,000 Bitcoin. Of course, if it goes down to those prices, it's not going to. I don't think it'll stay down very long. The hoopla that this would cause probably wouldn't last real long, But if you're an HODLer, here's the bottom line. Bitcoin ain't going nowhere. If Tether goes down, if this whole thing turns into an enormous mess, it might take some of the wind out of Bitcoin sales for a little while and the altcoins. But if you're a long-term holder, the best thing is to hold it right through this and wait until it comes out of this and goes to the other side and starts to go up again. That's the best thing to do if you're a long-term holder and you're in it for the long haul, because ultimately Bitcoin is going to stay on this trajectory that it's on. It might have a slump where it goes down some, and from something like this, but then ultimately in the end it'll go past its old highs. This might just set it back a few months. To tell you the truth, she's moving too fast. It might be a good thing if it's set back for a few months and slows it down, takes a little bit of the heat off of it, Bitcoin's been red hot lately. And, with any commodity, you can't stay red hot forever, you're gonna, if you're in Las Vegas and you're rolling the dice, and you roll like 3 sevens in a row, you better quit, take your money off the table and walk out. Because you're not going to roll that 4th 7. It's that kind of thing. The odds keep stacking against you, and Bitcoin's been moving higher and higher and higher, and it might be good if Bitcoin comes down a little bit for a little while, allow us to accumulate a little bit more. Maybe it's wishful thinking. I want to get a little bit more Bitcoin, but the thing is if this thing breaks open, maybe I will be able to get a little bit more Bitcoin before the price really goes and skyrockets. But see, as time is going by, at the same time, you got these problems going on. And maybe these problems will take Bitcoin down a little bit. Maybe they won't, but maybe they will. At the same time, Bitcoin is expanding its user base. And it's becoming more integrated into the financial system all the time. So even if Bitcoin rolls over and it sheds a few $1,000s off the price, still, ultimately, in the end, on the other side of this, Bitcoin, even when it's going down in price, it's going to be expanding. And so even if Bitcoin does go down in price, even if it goes down a few $1,000s, it's going to be expanding its user base out at the same time. So eventually, because that user base expands out to a certain point, after a while, it's going to start supporting itself. That the user base gets so big, Bitcoin gets so accepted, ultimately that's going to lead to higher prices down the road, And so Bitcoin's been hit by stuff like this before. Now, I'm not saying this is going to actually come to fruition. I'm not saying that the New York Attorney General's office is going to close down Tether. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's a possibility there, and it looks to me like the circle is closing in on them a little bit, especially with the fact that these banks are asking them to close their accounts. It's like these banks are washing their hands of Tether. That's what it's like right now. And it's worrying me a little bit, because I know how Tether has integrated itself into the Bitcoin ecosystem, and we could see a negative effect upon the price of Bitcoin if this happens. But Bitcoin might be getting ready to go down a little bit anyway, because it's up near the where it's come up so high so fast. So you just got to watch out for this. I wanted to point it out to you guys on this show tonight and let you know about it, so that you're not all of a sudden blindsided and say, "Oh my gosh, Bitcoin price is dropping," I should have sold yesterday or whatever, and I just wanted to let you guys know about this. If you're not an HODLer and if you want to keep your eye on this really tight, you want to keep your eye on it, and because this could become something much bigger, just a little bit further down the road. Thank you guys for listening to the show, and we'll catch you guys very, very soon again. Bye bye.